Hi all, welcome back to fifth part of this Selenium hybrid framework series. In last video, we implemented page object model and we kept the locators for login page into the login page.java. Now let us go back to our base class, and here we can see that we have declared these variables for URL, username, password, etc. in our code itself, and this is not a good practice, and so we need to separate these values from the actual code, and that is what we are going to implement in this video through the properties file. So what I'm going to do here is in my projects folder I'm going to create a new folder and will be naming it as configuration. Now in this configuration folder I'm going to create a new file called properties config dot properties. So this is my config.properties, and now here I am going to put all my variables. So URL is equal to, and remember there is no space. Let me get those values, and then again there will be no double quotes also. So I am simply writing it like this: uname is equal to, again I am going to get that username, and as I mentioned, no space, and then password is equal to secret sauce. Okay, now that I have created this config file, I need to write a code to read this file. So now I am going back to my src test java, and there I am going to create a new package called shopping.utilities. Okay, now see, in this configuration folder that I had created previously, I have created one file here, config.property. There could be multiple files. Say if you want to keep the data and read it from the Excel, you can keep those Excels also here in this part. So it will hold multiple files. Now coming back to our utilities, I am going to create a new class and I will name it as read config. Right, so I have created this read config, and now I am going to start my coding. I am going to define this properties here, properties pro, and let me import that. So java utils, I will get that, and now file src is equal to new file, and I am going to give the file path, which is this, so which is this configuration, and that was config.properties. Alright, then I am going to use file input stream, fis is equal to new file input string and I will be keeping this src. And then we have already defined this. I'm sorry, extremely sorry. So this will come in the constructor of this read config. Okay, uh, and that will be here. Okay, all right. Then I am going to use this pro is equal to new properties, and then I will write pro dot load and this FIS. All right, so I have written this. So let me quickly import the values. Import it from Java IO. Let me import file input stream also. Right, I have done that, and now here I will keep it in try catch. Right, so here also I need to keep it in try catch. So let just get me this out of here, and I will keep it here, and I will simply give exception E, and I will give here sys out. And exception is, and sorry, I will give E dot get message. Alright, so now that I have done with this part, now I am going to create. Now see, I want to read these values. Now I have opened this particular file, and now I want to read the values from those variables. So and it's not about just reading, but it should return those values. So I am writing the methods here. So public string and get URL is my method, and I am going to write here pro dot, and you can see now that it will give me okay, so here it is public string get property, and into get property I am going to write as my URL. So right, and that particular value needs to be returned. Right, so it is returning. So similarly I want two more methods for username and password. So these are the two methods. So get username, similarly get password. So for that again get property, and I am going to use here uname, and here it was pwd. Right, so now how to read these values? So simple. So let me get back to my application here, or in the base class. Now what I am going to do is, here I am going to create a class object of this config read config class. Read config conf is equal to new read config. Right, so this is it, and I will now import it, and now see here how I will give it. Let me quickly do. So conf dot, and now you can see it is returning these values. So it is giving me those methods get URL. Similarly for username I will write as conf dot get username, and for password I will use conf dot get password. Right, so this is my code that I have written, and so that's it. Now I want to check whether I am able to run or not. So for this, what I have done, I created one configuration folder. Into that I created one config.properties file, and I put the variables and their values for URL, username and password. Then I created one package under src test java as shopping.utilities. Into that I created read config java, wherein I am reading that config properties file, and I created 3 methods to return the values of URL, username and password. Then in my base class I created the object of this read config, and then through that object I am reading the values returned for the URL, username and password. And now I am going to execute my test. So let me quickly run that, and I will run it as test-ng, and let us see if it works. So ideally now again it should open the browser, launch application, enter username, password, verify the products label, and then quit. So let us see if it works correctly. So it has launched the browser, and again it has entered username, password. So our program has successfully run, and it has given me the pass results also. So now what we have done is we have separated the variables that were declared inside our program, and we created one config properties file, and we kept all our values that could possibly be changed in future also, and that configuration should not be dependent on your program, and that is the reason why I have kept it aside. So if I want to add any new values, if I want to change any existing values, I can do so, and for any new values added, here I will simply need to write the methods and return those values, and that is how much it is simple. So this is how to handle such kind of situation scenarios, right? So that's it for this video. In next video we are going to see how we can give the parameter as to which browser our tests should be executed on, and which we will be covering in the next video. So up till then, bye and take care.